Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I am your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. On this program, I want to continue talking about this Charlie Hebdo terror attack and how it relates to end times Bible prophecy. And it's interesting that quite a few of the world leaders of today who are found in the Bible either commented on this terror attack or attended the memorial service. And it has to be really frustrating for the Antichrist for him to bring about all this chaos and yet not get public recognition. Now the false prophet, and that would be Pope Francis, is doing his part. Would you believe that he justified this massacre of 12 innocent people? He compared it to punching somebody in the face who had insulted your mother. And he actually visibly did this by punching the air. Let's take a look at that by now famous clip.
Una parolaccia contro la mia mamma, ma gli aspetta un pugno. Ma è normale.
Now, how does this parable from Pope Francis compare with the gospel? Jesus told Peter to put away his sword. He said if someone strikes you on the cheek, to turn the other cheek. Pope Francis' parable does not even square with the Old Testament, which taught an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Pope Francis says that if someone insults your mother, you can punch him in the nose. This is very strange indeed, and really can only be understood if Pope Francis is the false prophet promoting the Antichrist agenda. Let's look at that clip again.
Una parolaccia contro la mia mamma, ma gli aspetta un pugno. Ma è normale.
Now I know some of you are going to say that Pope Francis was just talking about, maybe a barroom brawl, or maybe domestic violence. He was not talking about the murder of 12 innocent people in Paris. However, he was specifically responding to questions from the reporters about that terror attack. Pope Francis was justifying the work of the Antichrist. Incidentally, Pope Francis has it in his power to bring world peace. All he has to do is to consecrate Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, as we requested by heaven of the Fatima seer, Sister Lucy. But if Pope Francis is indeed the false prophet, that is not going to happen. And now I would like to play for you a very interesting clip from a Father Paul Kramer. Now this was published just a day or two ago here on YouTube. And he claims that Vladimir Putin, when he visited Pope Francis just over a year ago, asked the Pope to consecrate Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and Pope Francis refused. Let's take a look.
I was staying just across from the Vatican Wall in Piazza Risorgimento at the time that Mr. Putin arrived to go into the Vatican and meet with the man who calls himself Father Bergoglio. The meeting took place, and I learned through the diplomatic channels that I have in Rome that there was a discussion. But in the course of the official discussion, Mr. Putin asked about the consecration of Russia. And Father Bergoglio, as he likes to be called, Francis, replied to Mr. Putin, "We will not discuss Fatima."
Now this video by Father Paul Kramer, if it is authentic, and I will put the link to it below, is truly stunning. What it shows is that Pope Francis is indeed fulfilling his Bible role as the false prophet. But that Vladimir Putin may be having second thoughts about being one of the 10 kings of the Antichrist. Maybe he does not want to fulfill his Bible role of nuking America as the last king of the North, unlike Barack Obama, who is doing everything he can to provoke Putin. Maybe Putin does not want to be the Prince of Persia who ruins Israel. Is Russia converting? I want to show you one more very interesting clip from Church Militant TV, which says that Russia is about to make abortion illegal in that country.
The Russian parliament may see a sweeping new bill that would ban most abortions. The bill was presented to Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, who now has to run it by health experts and a parliamentary health committee. In Russia, more than 90% of women over 30 have had at least one abortion. Currently, Russian law limits abortion to the first trimester and bans same-day abortions as well as advertising for abortion services.
And, of course, we know that Vladimir Putin opposes the gay agenda. By contrast, our own president, Barack Obama, supports homosexuality, gay marriage. He wants Obamacare to pay for abortions, contraceptions, and sterilizations. He is doing everything he can to become one of the 10 kings of the Antichrist. And now he wants to serve the Antichrist further by normalizing relations with Cuba. By the way, that proves that Obama is not the Antichrist. He was following the orders of the false prophet, Pope Francis. If, in fact, Obama were the Antichrist, he would have initiated this normalizing of relations with Cuba a long time ago. He was following orders from the false prophet. That proves that he is lower down on the chain of command than Pope Francis. And now I want to get back to this Charlie Hebdo terrorist massacre. It's interesting that neither Putin nor Obama attended the memorial service, but Benjamin Netanyahu did. And there are many terrorist attacks constantly throughout the world, and I don't think Benjamin Netanyahu attends many of the memorial services. So why did he attend this particular service? Why has this Charlie Hebdo terrorist attack commanded so much attention worldwide? And this is my theory. I believe this is a warning from Almighty God. This was more than just an incident. This was a warning specifically to the nation of Israel. And I don't mean God killed those people. He limited Satan to 12 victims. Those 12 victims signify the 12 tribes of Israel. Those 2 terrorist brothers signify the 2 she-bears in 2 Kings. I have told you many times that the 2 she-bears which come out of the woods and tear apart 42 youths is an end times prophecy, an end times warning to the nation of Israel. Let me just read that passage for you. 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 24. And he turned back. Now this is the prophet Elisha speaking. And he looked on them. That's the youths who were making fun of him, by the way. It's very dangerous for you people to make fun of prophets. And cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the woods. In the end times, those 2 she-bears symbolize Russia and Iran. And tore 42 of the youths. Now the number 42 symbolizes end times Israel, because it combines the 4,000 years of ancient Israel plus the 2,000 years since Jesus the Messiah. And that term youths symbolizes Israel because Israel is a young country. And so in conclusion, I believe I am right when I say that this Charlie Hebdo massacre has an awful lot to do with the fulfillment of Bible prophecy. And on that same note, As a reminder to you, my subscribers, my thirdeaglemedia.com has now posted the end times prophecies of Zechariah as found in his chapters 12, 13, and 14. And they also are critical warnings to the end times nation of Israel. And I will be doing a video on that very soon. And in the meantime, please go to my website and download those 4 PDF files so that you can study what Zechariah is saying. And he is warning Israel very much like this Charlie Hebdo massacre in Paris.